Hi everyone, Itai Tomer is here, Chief Product Officer for CodeBlue. We're about to start, still waiting for the last persons to join. We will start in about a minute or two. Okay. So, hi everyone, welcome. This is Itai, the Chief Product Officer for CodeBlue, and thank you for joining our webinar. Um, Please feel free to ask any questions that you have in the chat, and I will make sure to answer all of them at the end of the presentation, as I would like to start with a quick introduction and presentation to our product, to the main and very cool and new and latest features that we developed, and allowing, of course, time for questions if anyone has anything. So, welcome to our um, webinar about the latest product developed by CodeBlue. CodeBlue, as you're probably familiar with, is a company that is market leader in the last 4 years for cyber incident and cyber crisis management. And about 2 years ago, we came to a realization that managing cyber incidents with consulting services only is not good enough to serve the market. And we developed also a product that we call Blue Castle. I would start with a very short presentation, briefly, probably 2 slides. Let me just share my screen. And I think that those 2 slides explain most of what we're going to see later as part of the product presentation. So basically, for us, everything is about moving from chaos to control because our experience managing hundreds of hours of incidents and crises for our customers all around the globes, all types and sizes of companies, realized the most incidents, most crises, if not all of them, are basically starting from a chaos. And if you only control them well, you will get much better achievements and manage the crisis much better. So as a CISO or as anyone else that works in the security department, your main role would be to build controls to protect your organization, adding more and more controls, more and more things that makes your organization safer. But our story, the story of Blue Castle, starts just after, because eventually and evidentially, doesn't matter what you do, uh, you're going to find yourself in some kind of an incident or a crisis. And my question to you, and I'd like to think about it, is what would you do if in the next 5 minutes during this webinar, someone from your organization calls you and tells you we are at a cyber crisis? We are either at a major cyber crisis, like all systems are down due to an attack of a DDoS, denial of services, or we are under a ransomware attack, or everything is encrypted and we are being asked to pay a very high ransomware, or even a minor or a smaller cyber incident, such as, an employee accidentally sent an email that was aim or goal to be sent to a colleague, but he sent it to someone outside of the organization. And what now we are experiencing data leak, where the entire press is talking about us leaking information, confidential information of customers. So what would you do? And I think this is the main and focus question. What would you do? Because our experience shows that every incident, every crisis, you would have to take hundreds or thousands of decisions during the first 48 hours. And the main problem or the main challenge is that it's not all decisions and critical decisions taken by the same person. There would be many teams involved, such as crisis management, IR, PR, legal, intelligence, BCP, business continuity, and others that all needs to collaborate together and get to the best decisions that will solve the crisis as soon as possible. And for me, I think the key thing here before we go to present and work on the demo is a very, I would say, disturbing truth that everything that we do in our day-to-day life in any organization that I worked with, we would have for everything that we do, we would know how to do it by having frameworks, methodologies, knowledge, and of course, a system. So just think about it. Any process in your organization, if you're hiring a new employee, I bet you have a lot of knowledge on how to do it. There's a framework, there's methodology, a correct methodology, and what would be the best process of hiring a new employee, and you would have a system to manage it. And the same goes about manufacturing process, the same goes about working with customers, customer service, customer support, etc., but not with crisis management. So when we go to a crisis management, again, it can be a major crisis or a small incident. We found ourselves in a situation when there's not a lot of knowledge. Most of us did not manage many crises, and there's no school in which we learn how to manage a crisis. Most of us do not have a framework and a clear way of managing the crisis. There's a lack of communication during a crisis due to the chaos of the organization in a crisis. And there's not a clear, proven methodology that will save us and get us safe out of the crisis, and definitely no system to manage a crisis. And that's what we come to solve. We built a system, call it Blue Castle, and Blue Castle platform would provide everything that you need to manage the crisis better. The platform comes pre-embedded with knowledge, with frameworks, with a way and a means to communicate well, and with the entire methodology developed by Code Blue over the years to manage the crisis in the best way possible. Simply put, it is based on statistics, may save up to 1/9 of the cost and the time spent in managing a crisis if you manage it well. And the important thing to say is, maybe as cyber experts, maybe as people which are, I guess, by joining this webinar, you proved yourself to care about crisis and about cyber incident. So maybe you would have knowledge and you would have the means to manage a crisis by having some tools and methodologies developed. But the bigger question is, what about your colleagues? Because as mentioned earlier, a crisis management is not a role for the cybersecurity team only. Is your legal department ready? Is your PR department ready? Is your IR department ready? Is your business continuity team ready? Is your sales department ready, etc., etc.? Because managing a crisis becomes a problem for everyone in the organization. So moving to the actual demo of the product, I would like to show you how a simple, not simple, an advanced product with very nice and capabilities can solve all those problems in, I would literally say, one click. The main question, and what, let's go back to the presentation for one more slide. The main question you should ask yourself is, how long would you get from the moment you heard about a crisis from that an empty page? Nobody knows what to do. Nobody has activities. There's no understanding of the crisis. Everybody's asking themselves, what should we do, to this, to the place where everything is clear, task, activities, members, team members, etc. And that's what I would like to take you through. So our story goes now to the application, and we are, of course, this is a demo. It is not a real crisis. And in this demo, we simulate a crisis, and I'm going to show you what would I have 10 minutes or 5 minutes after opening a new, we refer to it as a war room application, after opening the war room application. So I would open the war room application, and less than after 4 minutes of a very quick triage process, this is what everyone in my team will see. First, as mentioned earlier, it is not a problem just for the CISO and just for the cyber expert. A cyber incident is an issue, is a problem to be solved by many other teams. So you have all the teams here. I have my legal team, I have my IR team, I have my PR team, and of course, I have a dashboard which shows me how each one of those teams performed, how many of the users already entered for each one of those teams. So you can see, for example, my crisis management team should consist of 9 users, only 3 onboarded, and 3 out 11 from the IR, from the legal, how many tasks they have, how many critical tasks, and how they perform about their task. So I know that my team is start working, and this is a job or a role for everyone. I have, of course, a main page in which I can see as managing the crisis, all the tasks, all the activities, everything that need to be done. And as part of the methodology, and that's what's amazing, one click and all those tasks and activities are here because they were built up front. I will show you earlier how to easily build those quickly on what we call a playbook. A playbook or a reference scenarios is essentially a description of what would you do in a case of. And since we initiated a case of a cyber incident or cyber events, everything is in here very quickly and very simply. Now, managing a cyber event or a cyber incident goes way beyond project management. It's not just a task of the project management. That's simple. That's not what's really interesting. But what's really interesting is that the systems that automatically analyze using AI and using the knowledge and the methodology, the entire methodology is in here, what needs to be done, what do you need to do first? So it's not just about priority, as in any other project management. It all has to do with a countdown. Some activities needs to be completed by a specific time, by a specific person or a specific room. So for example, I need my business continuity team to monitor regulation and backup system stability within the next 58 minutes. This is the timeline that was assigned to them by the scenario that we are dealing against now. And it goes way beyond just tasks and things and who needs to do what. Of course, it's very important to manage and control those tasks, like the sharing options, which I can easily mark from here and share with my colleagues, either on WhatsApp or other IM's instant messaging application. But it goes also to manage the activities log, as we call it, i.e., the journal. What's going on? What are we doing? Because in a cyber incident, it goes beyond task, it goes also to decisions that we took. So here's a decision that the CEO to take. There's action that was done, another decisions, and everything or most of the thing would generate other things. For example, an alert that came would result with some actions that we took, and this alert would result with investigations that we need to do, and the investigation would result or continue by more actions that are done. And this view is very important for many, many reasons. One of them, someone that just got into the project now. Remember, we talked about this communication, how important it is for me that anyone that just entered a crisis, right now would know exactly what happened, what needs to be done, what was done already, what was achieved already, and what is the clear decisions of next activities. What do we need to do? So just one glance at this incident activity log, and I know what is the decision. Did we decide to pay a ransomware or not paying the ransomware? Retrieve everything from backups, do not retrieve everything from backups. This is everything that needs to be done. All the other types of information, like the summary updates are here, any summary for the event, and the communication is managed here by groups such as WhatsApp communication or internal chat. I can open a chat for discussion with any individual in the system or any room, like the different rooms which are here. So I can have a chat with my legal team, or I can have a chat with on a specific topic. So I can combine some persons from the legal team and some persons from the PR team, and together work on the message that we would like to notify the press in the next 1 hour. Everything is a lot to do with the efficiency of how you manage a cyber incident, having a system that manage it, but it goes way beyond that. As we mentioned earlier, it's not just about the communication, it's about taking the right decisions. How do I know what to do? Probably in most cases, it's the first time I meet this incident. And if not me, probably my colleagues are meeting this incident for the first time in their life. I mean, legal department was not invited to join war rooms in so many cases in their lifetime. So we have an agent, a crisis management assistant that helps me with, literally ask anything. And since AI and LLM, large language models, become a significant part of our life, I bet everybody is using now either ChatGPT or Copilot or Claude or Gemini or any of those. I think that you can understand the capabilities of such a system if it has also the knowledge of the methodology for managing a crisis, and if it has the knowledge on your organization. So simply put, I think anyone can build an agent very simply and ask the internet anything. You can ask, ChatGPT, I'm running now a serious incident of ransomware. What should I do? And ChatGPT would respond with, let's be honest, a good answer. The answer is not going to be bad, but it's not perfect. It's not 100% accurate, based on hundreds of cases analyzed, because the internet does not have the knowledge of all the incidents that happens, and it is not based on a methodology and a way to work. And obviously, it is not based on everything that you have here on your event. It is not based on the activities that was done, on the decisions that you took, on the alerts that you noticed, etc. Having a chat or a crisis manager assistant inside the application allows me to ask anything and get a very clear response, which is relevant and concrete and explain to me what to do compared to this event. Now, we don't have enough time in a webinar, but I encourage everyone who would like to run a demo with us to try and play with it. And we always do what I call an A/B testing. Let's ask ChatGPT a question and ask the same question from Blue Castle's crisis management assistance, and the difference is very clear. Again, not that ChatGPT would have a bad answer. It has a good answer, but it's not actionable enough. Nobody is going to trust ChatGPT in case of emergency, but this is a system that you can trust. You can ask anything from what are the systems by typing infected by this event, and the chat will find it, because on top of those room, IR, PR, etc., legal, business continuity, I have a room for business continuity while the chat is thinking. I can show you, and I have, sorry, a room for IR, and in my IR team, oh, I was okay, business continuity. I have all the business processes and system. And if a system is affected, I have it here marked as a system that was affected. So my CRM is affected, and another system called OpSync. But it doesn't matter for me to go and search the data anywhere it is in the different rooms. I have a chat that can find very quickly what are the systems that are affected, what are the business processes, what is the RPO, RTO, anything else. I can ask even, general questions about what should I do next. What are the top things recommended to do in the next 5 minutes, the next 2 hours, and I will get a clear answer. I love it that the crisis management assistant even accept my spelling mistakes very quickly as I type quickly. So it will gather all the data and it explain what are the top 3 actions that need to be done now, based on all the information they have, all the communication, and of course the methodology. The methodology explain what's important and is why now, what makes it relevant to happen now. So this is about the crisis management. This is about the chatbot. As I mentioned earlier, a lot is to do also with the automation. So anytime someone, let's go to a specific room like legal, but anytime someone type anything in the communication channel, either being an external IM, instant messaging tool such as WhatsApp, Teams, Slack, whatever, or in the internal communication channel, the system will analyze it and figure out, is this communication, do people talk about a task? And if yes, it will add it as a pending task. So those are suggestions for tasks that comes from the communication. So it's good enough, or it's enough that I will be, I don't know, on the Waze now on my car, and I write in my chat, either the application chat or in WhatsApp or in external communication chat, hey guys, I think someone should verify that the backups are relevant and that they were done last week, and it will be a new task appearing here. So this task, assigned incident commander, came because someone was typing somewhere in the rooms, I think we need to assign an incident commander. Now I can either accept the task very quickly and start managing it, or delete, saying it's not a good idea. I don't know who suggested it, but I don't want to take this advice. Someone else typed somewhere, notify internal stakeholders. Well, do I need to notify internal stakeholders? Yes, I think it's a good idea to notify my employees as well on what's going on. Let's accept it as a task. And the task is part of all the tasks. Now I can, of course, edit it, decide who's the owner for this task, to assign it to someone, give it a timeline, give it a countdown, and make sure that everything works well. So this was the first part. What do we do in the case of an emergency and an event? As mentioned earlier, maybe most of the things that you saw running up here are against a very severe crisis, such as ransomware, where I would have tens or hundreds of activities and things that needs to be done coming to here automatically, immediately, directly from my playbook. But it's not just about major crisis. I think that when it comes to, standard incident, as the example I gave earlier about an employee that accidentally sent an email to someone else, that happens quite often. And since it happens quite often, I would like to manage it. I would like to log, to ticket it, to learn from the experience, and to see, and to be honest, also to prove that I managed my crisis and my incident properly. So I have also at the end of the day, these logs that we mentioned earlier, I can put it as a timeline, print it, and have a kind of a proof this incident was managed properly because you can see we responded very quickly. Everything was done according to methodology. Everything was done perfectly. All the teams were involved, etc. So the system would help you also with what we refer to as incident and not only crisis. Obviously, it's a must to manage a chaotic crisis, but it's also a must to manage multiple or many uh, smaller incidents. Now, the main question a lot of people would have by now, so how does it happen? How does all this magic come to place? How do you make a system that 5 minutes after an alarm was sound, 5 minutes after someone told me, Itai, we are in an incident, I already have all this up and working and the team knows what to do. Everyone is activating what they do. So the answer is very simple. That comes from the second model that we have, which we refer to as RED, or resilience every day. We believe that resilience is something that you should prepare daily. Not a lot of work to do daily, maybe 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, but you need to prepare in order to get ready for the event when it comes. And organizations that prepared and made themselves ready for events proven to be 10 times more efficient managing the event. And I don't think that this should surprise anyone. If you would read later about the founders of the company of CodeBlue, they all came from the founders and the leaders of the company. They all came from a very long experience in, country management of cyber crises and cyber incident. And as coming from Army and other intelligence services, everything is about the preparing. The more you prepare, the better you are. But preparing takes time. And most CISOs, actually, every CISO I ever talked to told me, Itai, I'm very busy. I know that's the core problem of managing security is the lack of resources. Nobody has more people than he would like to have. And that's why we built a RED that basically works for you. The RED, the Resilience Every Day, is a system that helps you get ready, that spread the works of preparing for event across all the organization because it's not just your work, and I will show in a minute what do I mean by that, and that does not take a lot of time, basically does not take almost any time at all in order to get ready for the events. So what do we have? Let's start with the dashboard. The dashboard, as you can see here, is, I would say, answer the questions that any management would ask. Again, as a CISO or being part of a security team, imagine that they call you to a board meeting or to a management meeting. What do they care about in a board meeting or a management meeting? Basically, three main questions. Are we ready for a crisis? What is our readiness score? And I have the answer for this question right here. So we are 60% ready, and it comes with benchmark and an explanation on how are we doing compared to other organizations in our categories, etc. And this answer should be good enough for management, or they should allocate more resources, and I will improve my readiness. The second thing that I think is really important when you talk about readiness is that readiness is not just, one holistic answer. We are ready. Ready for what? As you can see in my example, I'm quite ready for liabilities issues, for business continuity, governance, etc. A lot of organizations would be ready for governance because this is a requirement by regulations. My IR team is doing great jobs. They're 70%. They're very ready, but we are not ready for a reputation crisis. So in case of a challenge for our reputation, we're not ready. We did not develop all the necessary controls and things that will help us mitigate a reputation crisis. So our mitigations are not in place. Of course, there's an explanation here. What does it mean? Let me remove the zoom. What does it mean? The capabilities that we have for reputation. So this is our weakest link. Yes, we are quite ready. 60% is okay, but not when it comes to technological issues or reputations issues. We're not ready. The other thing, as I mentioned earlier, a CISO or any other security expert cannot manage alone the cyber readiness. So here on the top, I can see how my colleagues or other departments can and should help me. So my CMT, my crisis management team is doing great, is doing amazing. And you can see here an insight coming generated by AI explaining what's so well about the ways that the CMT is working. And my IR team is doing okay, and my legal is okay. Not great, but okay. But my PR team, well, they are behind. They lack the readiness that I would expect them to be at. And by the way, it's quite related, the PR, the reputation, so it looks like it goes hand in hand. So this answers the second question that we have, who's ready and who's not ready? And the third question that comes from management is very simple. So what do I need in order to improve? And here we have an algorithm and a mechanics, and of course, that combines also a full methodology that says if you're not ready, the system will automatically calculate tasks and activities that you need to do in order to be ready and automatically allocate it to the different teams. So my PR team, in order to be ready, they need to do the following things: write a communication package for employees. I don't know why we don't have it yet written. Creating a PR portfolio for alert states, etc., etc. Once they'll do that, my PR team will be in a better position, in a better place. Everything is being built into one coherent and clear Gantt, answering the very important question to management of what do I need to do? Well, this is what you need to do. And this is who needs to do it, because it's not only me. As a CISO, I've done everything that I can. But in order to have an organization ready for a crisis, I need, as mentioned earlier, my PR team to work better, IR, legal, BCP, everyone else. Everything that we do always has to be related and connected to the business of the organization. That's why we involve here the business continuity. So we have mapping of all our systems. Let's put it in this view. It's a nicer view. And our systems, and the systems and the AI of the systems and the agents can automatically learn what is the importance of different processes and what is the status. So what are those processes that needs 2 hours RPOs compared to those which need 6 hours? And when we are in a crisis, it will automatically map it accordingly and knows how to manage it. And I think that, again, the system is full of amazing features and cool things and AI that helps you build your playbook and have playbooks ready and alert levels that shows the organization when you need to raise, your controls and protection a little more, because some external things coming as we are integrated on also to CTI and attack surface systems, we know about it. And I do not have time, not only in this webinar, but probably even in a 1 hour session to show all the features. I encourage you to schedule and talk to us about a one-on-one demo in which we'll be able to show everything. But there's only one last thing that I would like to show you, and that's the area of reference scenarios. Reference scenarios is where we get ready for scenarios that may happen. And again, we do not need to build those manually. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time. So even though it is now, what is the time? I don't have a watch here. I would claim 2 minutes before I was about to finish. I can show you how in 1 minute, 60 seconds, and you're welcome to time me, to timing, to take the times. I'm building a new scenario for my organization. It's not going to be perfect. In order to build a perfect scenario, I need 3 minutes. But in 1 minute, it is good enough and really nice. What I have to do is basically click on new scenario. I can type a name for the scenario and build my own scenario, whatever it is, if it's something very specific for me, but I can start with templates. So our systems comes with a very vast knowledge base based on hundreds of thousands of events that we manage and many, many hours in instance response services that provide almost every reference scenarios you may think about. I would take, let's take something unique, not just the wipers and encryptions and data leak and all those kinds of things, but what about damage for my reputation? There's explanation here about damage reputation, and there are activities or tasks that needs to be done in order that will have to be done once you have an event. But I have here also this AI advice, and the AI advice has been analyzed. It is comparing now to the assessment, to the knowledge it has on my organization, and it says, you know what, this basic, or let's call it generic scenarios that we suggested is not yet 100% accurate for your organization. So let us analyze everything we know about your organization compared to what we have in the knowledge base, in the methodology, and then we will give you with the results and score. So this scenario, you need to modify it, and this is what you need to add if you want to make it 100% accurate for your organization. So I have your recommendation. I simply need to follow those recommendations. As I said, it's going to take 3 minutes rather than 1 minute, and my capabilities will be perfect. And even for the individual task, I have an AI telling me this task is, sorry, put it open here. This task is brilliant, very relevant for your organization. This task is very good for your organization. However, this task, we recommend modifying it. So your organization resides or live within different status and, the generic one, and this is what we recommend changing. So click on scenarios, creating scenario, and I have a new scenario. Now, if my organization is going to meet also reputation, what did I open here? Also reputation damage, I'm ready. I'm ready with tasks, with activities. Of course, I can make it a little bit more personalized by having owners and who's going to do what and timelines, etc. But this is how I get ready for the different scenarios. And we believe, and we proved it with many, many, many customers. A CISOs that spend less than half an hour a week, sorry, half an hour a week to 1 hour a week is first of and most important, come to management professional, showing them, I know what I'm doing. This is the dashboard. This is what happened last week. This is how we improved. So you have, of course, a progress over time. This is what I need from the PR team, from the CM team, and from other teams. And not only being professional in front of management, but also really ready for a real event by having the reference scenarios, alert levels, understanding on the external CTI, attack surface, etc. So I will stop sharing now, and I will try to see if there's any question in the Q&A part. Can the system work in an on-premise configuration? Well, that's a question, as many other questions, of a budget. The system is basically developed as a SaaS product. It's very efficient to work on a SaaS product. It makes the system relatively affordable, and anyone can easily onboard and start working. An on-premise configuration required a special attention from our team, not only to do the deployment, installation, and of course, maintenance, upgrades, new versions, etc. So it can work on-premise or on a private cloud, but it is basically a different budget than our regular pricing. So not budget, a different pricing than the regular pricing, which is a SaaS, simple to use, easy to use product. One comment about the on-prem. Please note that another advantage of the product, which I did not mention, this is your generator for emergency, right? In case of emergency, all your on-prem software and applications may be harmed. So if an attacker was able to get into your organization, an on-prem configuration may be at risk or may be jeopardized as well. Having a SaaS solution as secure as only CodeBlue can build something that secure keeps you also safe in a rainy day in case something happened to your environment. So this is the question I saw in the questions and answers. Are there any other questions and answers or MSSP model? Yes, definitely. I see these questions come from Ellie. Everything is as we call it, multi-tenant. So you will get a lot of benefit managing it as an MSSP. I don't know if you're asking this question coming from an MSSP provider or preferring to buy a product from an MSSP rather than buying directly from us. But in other case, it's a completely aimed and model and target towards MSSP model as well. Now questions mean I have a break to drink. Um, Guys, I think we would summarize this webinar. Any questions that you have, please contact us. You have our contact details. Please feel free to contact me directly. Again, Itai Tomer, CPO, Chief Product Officer for CodeBlue, or in our emails, website, whatever it is. Oh, one more question. Let's see. For some reason, I did not see a lot of questions. Now they all came in once. So as you work preparing your organization for a cyber crisis, obviously, by means of doing it, you comply with a lot of other standards. So we developed this product also for NIS2, for SOC 2, and any other standards and compliance that you do. Once you prepare yourself to the event, you will get automatically a score about what is the percentage of readiness that you have for NIS2, and it will help you meet the compliances very, very quickly. Uh, okay, answering the question of on-premise again. Sorry if I was not clear. The simple answer is yes, we can build any product on an on-prem configuration as well. It is only a different cost for the customer because we're not managing it on the cloud. Another question comes here about pricing for MSSP, etc. Please contact us and we'll be happy to provide you both the answer for private label and individually. Obviously, that's a question that we should answer later. A question by Ellie: is the organization infrastructure need to be uploaded manually? Not necessarily, no. No, of course not. Our attack surface, as we call it, engine would scan automatically from the outside everything that you have in your organization and provide us everything that you need. When it comes to the BCP, as you know, a BCP may be a very long process. We have a way and manner to do it using AI very quickly in a self-discovery process, which can help identify all the assets and the tools. We do not need a full BCP for managing a better crisis management, and we have the solution for it. That's it. I think every other question was answered. Thank you, everyone.